Rajdeep, Maharashtra.
It's the most difficult state to predict. Pradeep Gupta has already had a nightmare predicting it in Lok Sabha. Trust me, Vidhan Sabha will be even more difficult to predict because the contest is going to be fiercer. Anyone who doesn't get a ticket will contest as an independent. You will have triangular, quadrangular contests of a kind that Maharashtra has never seen before.
So let's take you through the data for Maharashtra. Rajdeep, you're welcome to jump in whenever you want.
No, please.
So here is the broad sense of how Maharashtra, if the alliances hold, that's the other question, will the alliances hold in the way that they are? If the alliances hold, there is, despite everything that's happened, despite all the todpod, Uddhav Thackeray's party being split, Sharad Pawar's party being split, despite all of that, there is only a 3% gap in this post-poll study between what the NDA has and what the India alliance has. So 43 versus 46, a 5% decline for the NDA from the last time, an 11% increase. And this is despite the fact that Prime Minister Modi is on the ticket and despite the fact that this is a much weaker Shiv Sena and a much weaker NCP than it would have been had they been together. Let's now look at the caste-wise breakup. If you look at the caste-wise breakup, again you'll get a sense of how things have moved. Out of the 10% Muslim voters, 84% consolidation in favor of the India alliance. Amongst the tribals, they're split. Amongst the tribals, split almost equally. Amongst the Dalits, a big advantage for the India alliance with 51% of the voters saying they voted for the India alliance, up 22 from the last time. The BJP alliance is roughly where it was. Let's now come to the other categories that we're looking at. If we look now at the general category, a massive upper caste consolidation in favor of the NDA, which is expected. A very strong OBC consolidation again in favor of the NDA, which again is expected. The Maratha vote, which will be crucial, is split equally. 23% roughly Maratha voters split equally. Rajdeep, you want to tell us what inference you would be drawing from this?
Maharashtra is a mirror cracked. It's like having a cracked mirror and, you can see the split in the Maratha vote. You can see even the Kunbis. The Kunbis are as important, particularly in parts of Vidarbha. And you will see how that will play out. That huge edge really, in a way, surprises me among the Kunbi community. They are the real peasant cultivators of Maharashtra. And that's where the demand, the battles over reservations between Maratha and Kunbis could play out even further in the next few months. Others include the Vanchit Bahujan Aghadi. And one of the mistakes that I think, again, the India Alliance made, Prakash Ambedkar was there in the Shivaji Park rally that was held at the conclusion of Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Nyaya Yatra. But a few weeks later, he decides to contest on his own. He's getting about 15% of the Dalit vote. Now, this is in Lok Sabha. Imagine that in a Vidhan Sabha. So I think Maharashtra is about who gets their coalitions right and, more importantly, Rahul, who gets their candidate selection right, because in every seat, there will be battles for choosing the right candidate. You can see, even in Pradeep's poll, the mistake they made in Sangli by not giving that seat to the Congress could well cost them. Plus, one final point. The buzz in Maharashtra in the last 48 hours, will Uddhav Thackeray stay with this alliance or not?
Leave?
Look, I think he's going to stay. I asked his people, they said, no, we will fight this Vidhan Sabha election.
It's also about ego now.
But there will be pressure from MPs. Remember, every MP, and this is often not recognized, when I contest an MP election, मेरे 10-20 crore जाते हैं contest करने में. I need to recover. वो recovery कैसे होगी? मुझे सत्ता के साथ रहना पड़ता है.
What inference are you drawing? Because Pradeep needs to go, so let Pradeep answer first and then we'll carry on. Pradeep, what inference do you draw for Maharashtra Assembly based on your Lok Sabha data?
So I always say that Maharashtra, it's 6 regions, particularly, though it is 35 district or 48 Lok Sabha, each of them has a different arithmetic, social equation and leadership. Based on that, people votes. In Maharashtra is definitely not like UP or Bihar, where these caste groups are by and large aligned to a particular party or a particular group. So in Maharashtra, it's a leadership in a particular area which matters a lot, like Rajdeep mentioned, VBA, Prakash Ambedkar, though he is nowhere seen winning any kind of a seat, but he made sure win-or-loss for both Congress and BJP, particularly in Vidarbha area, because he hold a good, sizable vote share among the Dalit population.
And let me give you a piece of trivia before, fascinating trivia. Maharashtra is the one state Since 1985, we are now 40 years into it, no party has got a majority. It has had coalition governments for 40 years. Uttar Pradesh now has majority governments. Is the only big state of this country that has never had a single party cross the halfway mark of 40 years. It's a mirror cracked. So you can go, as Pradeep rightly said, constituency by constituency, district by district, you'll have the district satrap. And he takes his vote along with him wherever he goes. So the NCP controls Western Maharashtra. You'll have individual leaders who may have pockets of influence in a Vidarbha, in a Marathwada. Ashok Chavan, for example, in Nanded, shifted, joined the BJP. Will he take his followers with him? It's fascinating because Prithviraj Chavan, I don't know whether you call yourself a sub-regional or regional satrap or a satrap of Karad. You're smiling when I said that. But am I right to say Maharashtra is a mirror cracked? I mean, nobody seems to know who's going to be on which side. There are more than 100 MLAs, I'm told, in Maharashtra, who's sitting MLAs, who've been in more than one party in the last 20 years.
Yes. You see, what happened in Lok Sabha, there are 6 major parties now in 2 different alliances, each having MPs in parliament and many legislators in the Legislative Assembly. So that is not going to sustain. I mean, we'll see that at least a couple of parties dissolve into larger formations. Now, which parties will dissolve, disappear, I don't know, but 6 parties is not sustainable.
Let me be more specific. Are you saying, Mr. Prithviraj Chavan, you expect, because Sharad Pawar has hinted at it, that the NCP Pawar could post-election join you? Is there a possibility, a grand merger of the Congress? You're not ruling it out.
I won't name any party. But there's a possibility of some parties drawing a blank in the Lok Sabha election. There's a possibility of some parties doing much, the strike rate could be much lower. And I think there'll be a tendency among the MLAs and the candidates of Shiv Sena Eknath Shinde group and Ajit Pawar group to merge into either
But
Congress,
the ball could swing the other way as well. Sir, the ball at Wankhede could swing the other way. There would be pressure on Uddhav Thackeray's party as well for them to merge with the Eknath Shinde faction and for that to become one, which could go against you. So the ball can swing both ways at the Wankhede.
No, I don't think Eknath Shinde is not a leader of Shiv Sena. He is a leader restricted to a very small geography near Thane and all that. While Uddhav Thackeray enjoys a pan-Maharashtra following, and of course there's a huge sympathy factor for him, as we'll find out in the Lok Sabha election. As I said, a lot will depend on the result of the 4th June, the Lok Sabha result. But 6 parties are not sustainable. I think we'll see lesser parties. Maharashtra usually has 2 party each kind of a coalition. I think this is what I expect back for the 2019 October Vidhan Sabha election.
You know, with the Sharad Pawar faction joining you, Rajdeep Gibbs asked, but what about the likes of Uddhav Sena UBT faction leaving? That's also the buzz, sir.
Leaving where? No, I don't think they will leave. I think they will continue. Although Mr. Modi has been trying to woo both Sharad Pawar and Uddhav Thackeray in his recent speeches, I have really virtually thrown an invitation to both of them in the hope that if he falls short of the 272 mark, then he'll probably need some other parties. But I don't think the bitterness that is there, the way the parties were broken, I don't think we'll see Uddhav Thackeray going back to BJP.
The thing to consider when you look at this data really is that this is
Sharad Pawar accepting
the post-poll trend after both Sharad Pawar and Uddhav Thackeray's parties were split. Obviously, the BJP, Rajat, had a good sense of how bad the situation in Maharashtra was, because if this had been the original Sena, NCP and Congress versus the BJP, it would have been a very, very different situation.
No, absolutely. After the fiasco of 2019's verdict, the verdict was pretty one-sided, with Shiv Sena and BJP together winning it with a hands-down majority. Thereafter, the early years actually, a couple of years of the Mahavikas Aghadi, over these couple of years, what had happened is that the leaders of all the 3 parties kept their ego aside, and it became a perfectly cemented alliance. An alliance so cemented that all the 3 core ideologues of the heads of the party left their ideologies, sacrificed those ideologies, and went with no controversial remark. They stopped talking about Veer Savarkar. They stopped talking about other sort of issues which could have created splits or divisions ideologically in the MVA. And one very senior leader of the BJP said that they got far too comfortable in that alliance. And that comfort was haunting the BJP. This was like, ye hamara state hai, hum jeete the. How could it happen that, this artificial alliance of sorts could ideologically fit in so well? And that was a conundrum before the BJP. And BJP thought that some ambitions of certain leaders has to be sort of stoked or whatever you say. And that came to the fore, and we saw what happened after that. But also keep in mind, when the Yuti was formed, a similar expectation was that this Yuti will also cement together the way Aghadi has cemented together, and there would be a seamless vote transition. I fear, and this data of this elections also shows, that this cementing did not happen to that perfection that Aghadi was able to do.
And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that.
Multiple reasons.
The BJP is now party number 1 in Maharashtra. You see, the BJP is party number 1. So when you have a strong party, the others, are forced to play junior roles, whether it's Ajit Pawar, whether it's Eknath Shinde, even though Mr. Shinde is the chief minister. If Eknath Shinde does well, Rahul, it's because of the Modi factor. It's the Modi factor that will pull
will Shinde stay on as CM?
But no, you see, now he sacrifices BJP made. See, BJP had a larger ego, but nonetheless, when it came to the larger interest, they set aside.
You see, the BJP,
and they allowed both the parties to grow.
One of the stories of 2024, when it is written, the BJP has played alliance politics. And the opposition, which had to win this election, I remember Sharad Pawar telling me a year ago, Rahul, the way for the India alliance forward is 400 one-on-one fights. They never happened. Instead, it was the BJP which started to acquire party, Chirag Paswan here, Chandrababu Naidu there, RLD there, and has actually built an alliance. So Maharashtra, in a sense, if the Mahavikas Aghadi experiment, and Rajat is right, they actually worked together, settling aside their egos and ideologies. Had they done that nationally, the India alliance would have had a better chance in this election.
No, but Rajiv, I think we are talking about assembly elections. As Mr. Prithviraj Chavan was saying, the MVA has a strong base. There are 14% Muslims plus Dalits plus Maratha votes. That makes a very formidable cushion for assembly elections. And the three parties are working together. They are able to transfer vote. They are able to garner this thing. You were talking about the Congress NCP alliance. These talks were there in 2019 also. Mr. Majid Bennett had also played a key role. The key point, Rajiv, where talks fell out was transfer of assets. The NCP was not willing to transfer their party assets to the Congress, and that's where the talks.
Do you think Sharad Pawar would now join hands? Would he be more inclined to merge his party in the Congress? Would he take a chance, or would he look at options with the BJP?
So first, look at the results.
Based on the results.
What is the role Pawar has in NDA? Whereas, the state leadership is there, that, there is a lot of future and promise for Supriya Sule in the Congress at the national level or as well in the state level.
Yeah, but we've got to understand 2014 and 19, and Mr. Chavan, you're still with us. Both those elections, BJP was the number 1 party. You see, what used to be a dominant Congress party state, as you split apart into Congress and NCP, BJP has become the party number 1. I want to understand from you, y'all were not able to come together truly in an India alliance nationally. Not Maharashtra, but nationally I'm talking. Will you hold together is the key. You have a more than a fair chance. And are you willing to sacrifice seats to each other? Congress, as per our poll in Maharashtra, is turning out to be the Kamzor Kadi, the weakling. You are getting the fewest seats. Shiv Sena, UBT, Sharad Pawar are pulling their weight. You are bringing them down, especially in direct contest with the BJP. Will the Congress accept this junior secondary position?
No, Rajdeep, no, let's not, you're not analyzing it correctly. See, when we sat down for the alliance talks, for the seat sharing talks, Congress had 1 Lok Sabha seat in 2019 as against 18 seats that Shiv Sena had. We had started from a very weak position. From there, we got about 17 seats. Of course, we should have got more. There were problems in 2-3 seats, Sangli and South Central Mumbai and Bhiwandi. But being a larger party, we have the largest number of MLAs in the current assembly. Being a larger party, we accepted to sacrifice 1 or 2 seats, which is very unfortunate because we are absolutely sure seats for us. But let us not forget that we started from a position of weakness. 1 Lok Sabha seat in 2019. From that, we are contesting 17 seats. We should have really gone to about 2021, but so be it. We are at 17. But let me assure you, for Vidhan Sabha, I think we'll go together exactly in this alliance, maybe 3 parties, maybe fewer parties. As I said, 6 parties are not sustainable. I see only 4 parties remaining into the Vidhan Sabha election now. But the spirit of the MVA will remain intact.
No, which are the 4 parties? Which are the 2 parties that will go? Mr. Chavan, come on. You're giving us a news point. Which are the 2 parties that will go, in your view? Come on. No, you're saying 6 parties will become 4.
Exactly
I don't know which are the 2 which will go.
We'll discuss it this time tomorrow evening after the results are out. But all I'm saying is 6 parties will decide.
So you're saying the results will decide the possibility of Sharad Pawar joining hands with the Congress or Eknath Shinde's party slowly moving towards UBT or vice versa. Am I correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, good.
You know, I'm no Mumbai boy like Rajdeep, but I can read the data. No, that data tells me, Rahul Verma, is that the Maratha vote becomes very, very important. Just take it full screen. About 23% of the votes currently split 48-44. And there's an agitation that's been happening on the ground. And we've seen in some Lok Sabha seats, the UBT and the Muslim votes were kind of coming together on seats where Uddhav Thackeray's candidates were contesting. And therefore, in that mix, the Maratha vote then becomes very keen. And between now and the assembly elections, that could swing either ways.
True. The BJP's rise in some of the states post-14 has been happening by creating a wedge between the dominant community of that state, be it Jats in Haryana or Marathas in Maharashtra, versus the non-dominant communities. That's what the core of BJP's mobilization has been. And this poll basically suggests that BJP is going to lose a sizable section of Maratha vote, and that will become very crucial in the run-up to assembly election. But for Maharashtra, I want to say something, which is that Maharashtra is not only going to have assembly election, Mumbai Municipal Corporation election is also has to happen at some point
Which
of time.
has been due for a very long time.
Yes, and it has been due. And I think like this Lok Sabha election is going to create multiple possibilities. I don't know. There is a possibility of some of these sort of like fractured wings of different parties rejoining and realignment post the election. Then if assembly election happened after the municipal corporation election, you will see a very different pattern. But if assembly elections happen,
but the real challenge for the BJP is actually not the Maratha. The real challenge is this was a party which came through the OBCs.
No,
Maharashtra, the rise of the BJP took place through OBCs.
Correct.
The Congress was seen to be the dominant party of the Marathas. Now the real conflict in Maharashtra is between the OBCs and the Marathas. Because the Marathas are saying we want reservation within the OBC category. Now the Chief Minister is a Maratha. Devendra Fadnavis is a Brahmin. The OBC...
Exactly. So the BJP is that it cannot balance the pie.
That's
where
right.
You have Marathas on one side. BJP doesn't have a Maratha leadership in-house. They had a lot of OBC, a good battery of OBC leaders. The struggle for BJP is that in this situation where the Maratha ambitions and sentiments are sky high, how do you manage it without representation?
Okay.
The challenge is, and therefore, after this election, the ball is back into the centre's court about Maratha reservation, and it's a very thin line to traverse. What will BJP do about this?
We need to move on now.
Okay, I just wanted, there was a word. We used to use a word for viewers to understand. We used to use a word, Chavan sir will know, called Madhav. Mali, Dhangar, Vanzari. These were the 3 OBCs that drove the BJP to a position in Maharashtra. Now their problem is, how do I also accommodate a dominant caste? It's a problem all across. We saw it a bit in Haryana as well. You see, the dominant caste versus OBC, Rahul, is going to be a big battle in several states. Some states like Gujarat, the BJP was successfully able to achieve it. But in North India, over time, we see it with a Thakur like Yogi Adityanath in power, but your base is OBC or non-Yadav OBC. Somewhere the friction will come. You and I are around only for, me only for another 10-15 years. But these battles will be fought for hundreds of years now.
Why the Maratha votes dropped for the NDA alliance, because they were not able to handle the situation well.
So it will drop more, I believe, in the Vidhan Sabha.
That's what needs to be seen as to how
there's also Jharkhand, there's also Jammu Kashmir. We have limited time. Prithviraj Chavan,
are there other states in this country
for joining us?
Other than Maharashtra, yes.
I'm sure Rajdeep's already planning a special show on Mumbai Tak using this data, so do catch that. But thank you for joining us and we wish you all the best.